So anyway, he's memorable because he's got this really fascinating resume. He is very articulate about. He thinks a lot about how the presidency would work and what his job would be. He's obviously also done this really interesting thing coming at Mike Pence from the left in a moral way that people found quite appealing. And he's so and oh, by the way, and his marriage. I interviewed him for a piece that's going to air on CBS Sunday Morning, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And we haven't cut the piece yet, but the interview with his husband Chasten, the two of them, talking about marriage, the role of marriage in a busy and chaotic life, how they cordon themselves off from the insanity, how they both are sounding boards for each other. Chasten's a teacher in their lives. Was one of the best conversations I've had, forget politics, about marriage and the roles we play and how we help each other out that I've ever had with
That's awesome.
Contemporaries. It was a fascinating conversation. You don't expect that normally in politics. So I think people find their marriage appealing. So those are some of the reasons.
So,
what do you think, Jamelle? Why do you think he's?
I think all that's true. I think he's smartly been able to figure out what helps drive candidates in the modern sort of presidential cycle, and that is a kind of total transparency and openness. He appears to take every interview that's asked of him. He
didn't come on the Gabfest. We tried to have him in our Austin show, but he was leaving town. So.
He appears to be very candid. He is very obviously a deep thinker and someone who is sort of taking the problems at hand very seriously. He's willing to kind of put out sort of big ideas without hedging them, which I think really appeals to people. I think on part of the voters, right, if you take for granted that what Democratic voters are looking for most is someone who can beat Trump, then I do think that's acted as sort of a kind of, I think there's a degree to which a lot of voters are playing pundit and they're saying to themselves, who can win over, blue collar whites? And they're looking at this young mayor from Indiana and they're like, well, maybe he can do it. I think that helps explain some of Biden's high ratings. I think that explains some of O'Rourke's high ratings, that voters are sort of saying to themselves, pretending like they're on a CNN panel and gauging politicians that way, which I'm not sure is really the smartest thing to do. Mm-hmm. I think that can really lead you astray because it's, to me, unclear what really can appeal to large groups of people. And I think actually Mayor Pete is a good example of that.